this afternoon.
The sound of chainsaws could be heard across the region today, cutting trees. These crews are cleaning up in Washington Township, New Jersey. Lots of large trees and branches came down in last night's storm in that area. Cleanup is also underway on railroad tracks. Chopper 10 was over the tracks in Radnor Township, Delaware County. This track serves Amtrak and the SEPTA R5 Paoli Downingtown line. The R5 line has been down for most of the day. SEPTA is hoping service to resume on that line as soon as possible. Let's go live now to NBC10's Joe Vasquez. He's in Chester County, where many people are still without power there, and they are not very happy about it, as I can imagine. Joe?
Yeah, Tracy, you're right about that. Somewhere between 300,000 to 500,000 people without power in our area. About 140,000 of them here in Chester County. A whole bunch of them are in line right now. That's because PECO has a program where they give out dry ice. Problem here is, well, they ran out here. They ran out a long time ago. There are folks who've been waiting in line here, and the snakes around the corner, the back of the Kmart here, and maybe more than 300 people in line. How long have you been waiting here, sir?
Almost 4 hours.
And you, sir?
4 hours and 5 minutes.
And what have they told you?
It's here anytime.
Anytime.
4 hours and 5 minutes.
All right, I just spoke with PECO. They did say it should be here any minute. They point out they're one of the few companies, the utility companies in the country, that provides free dry ice for folks who are trying to preserve the food in their refrigerators and such. They didn't expect quite the turnout here. They tell me it should be here any moment, but you can see folks are starting to get, look at that line again, one more time, I want to point it out to you. It is around the corner. They are starting to get aggravated about this right now. Also, one last note, PECO says they are working hard to restore power to this area. It could be days. They expect that they should have everything back by Monday. That is a 4-hour power event. That's what they're warning us about, but a lot of these folks heard the warning and did not expect this. Reporting live in Chester County, I'm Joe Vasquez, NBC10 News.
They're doing their best. They brought in extra crews. They said it was going to be a 4-day event possibly, so.
All right, Joe, we'll come back to you, and hopefully they'll get that ice pretty soon, and you can show us what it's like then. Now, tumbling trees gave residents a double whammy in this storm.
This tree was knocked down during the storm in Maple Shade, Burlington County. It tangled itself in power lines, causing the pole to split and come down as well. And as you would guess, it knocked out power to quite a few residents there. NBC10's Lisa Mishler has been out surveying the damage and the cleanup today. She is live now in Winfield Heights. What can you tell us from there, Lisa?
Well, Tracy, imagine walking out of your front door in the middle of the night and being greeted by this. Isabel certainly toppled huge trees all across the Delaware Valley, as you heard, bringing down power lines. And so today, a big job ahead. The cleanup is on.
Sounded like an airplane. And then I said, well, the storm finally hit us.
Isabel's high winds hit Arthur Berry's Winfield Heights home with a wallop, knocking this old maple right through the upstairs window in the middle of the night.
And I looked and I just saw limbs poking through the window and came out, and right away I saw how much damage there was.
Isabel's winds raged for hours, the saturated soil unable to support the big old trees like the one that crushed 3 of the Hanrahan family's cars.
A cracking sound about 11:15. Tree went down, struck all 3 of our cars.
The chainsaws were buzzing on the main line and elsewhere, tree trimmers working at a feverish pace, choppers pulverizing debris, filling trucks with wood chips. Isabel's wrath helping arborists rake in some big bucks.
It seems like as soon as the sun came up and people started getting outside and seeing what kind of damage there was, then the phone started ringing.
Utility crews and police were busy with power knocked out to nearly 1 million people. Even late this morning, the residual winds were enough to topple this tree in Wynwood, snapping power lines in its path.
I thought the worst was over, but it certainly is a sight to see.
And this again a sight to see. The insurance adjusters headed this way. Supposedly later this evening, no doubt they've had a busy day as well. Now coming up at 5:30 tonight, obviously this tree will be cut up and taken away. But if your tree just lost some of its limbs, how do you know when it should come down or when you should try to save it? We'll talk about that coming up at 5:30. Live in Winfield Heights, I'm Lisa Mishler, NBC10 News.
All right, Lisa, and as you told us yesterday, tree falls on your house, insurance covers it in most cases,
In most cases,
Okay.
that's right.
There you have it.
So we're cleaning up around here, and in the Outer Banks, cleanup will take a very long time.
Oh, it's going to. The eye of the storm swept right over that area yesterday, packing winds up to 100 miles an hour, and it dumped buckets of rain on the Outer Banks. Now, take a look at this. Streets still look like rivers. This is in Kitty Hawk, a sea of power crews line up on the main road to file out to homes and businesses. Thousands of people without power and their homes are flooded as well. A double whammy there. Now, after battering North Carolina, Isabel headed north and then into the Delaware, into the Pennsylvania region. Here was the scene yesterday in Rehoboth Beach. It was buffeted by high surf, also strong winds, and some heavy rains at Rehoboth as well. Although many parts of Delaware suffered from flooding and power outages, things could have been a lot worse there. No one in Delaware lost their life in this storm.
Now, they were worried about beach erosion in Rehoboth Beach. NBC10's Cindy Hamill has been there for the past few days.
All right, she has got the latest now on the day after in Delaware. Cindy, how's it going there today?
Oh, big difference here. We still have a pretty good breeze here along the beach, and not so bad inland, and obviously not nearly as bad as it was yesterday. Now, the strong gusts overnight, though, were sure enough to bring down a lot of trees throughout the area. Power lines, too. We are told that Connective still says that they still have some scattered outages in our area. The wind really seems to be the worst part of the storm, at least right here in Rehoboth and the immediate surrounding areas. We did not get the floods that we were expecting here. The winds really died down around high tide early this morning, so that really helped. We do understand that some of the neighborhoods several miles south of here did get some damaging floods, but right here we were spared. Now, DelDOT did have to close Route 1. That's a main throughway here, and heading down south, they did have to close that for about 12 hours. They were afraid that some of that rough surf overnight may have damaged the cement pillars that hold up the Indian River Inlet Bridge. They checked that out. Inspectors went out there for about an hour late this morning. They say everything is okay, and they opened it about noon. Now, the other big concern, as you said, was the boardwalk. That was at the north end of the boardwalk here, right on Rehoboth Beach. They were afraid. City officials were very concerned that they were going to lose part of that boardwalk to Isabel. That did not happen. It is still standing at this hour. Now that the governor has lifted the restrictions on the state of emergency, businesses are starting to take down the boards from the windows, take down the tape, take away the sandbags, and reopen for business. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend here at Rehoboth Beach, and I'm sure those businesses are anxious to get back and recoup some of those losses. So that's the story from here. It's good news here in Rehoboth. Let's see how it's doing down in Virginia Beach, and that's where meteorologist Amy Freeze joins us. Amy?
Good afternoon, Cindy. It's beautiful weather right now. Temperature is very easy to take. The winds are light. And this right here is the pier, of course, that lost about 50 feet during the storm. It's back open. The businesses are open and working, and folks are even walking along. They've repaired the end of the pier so that people are free to go out and enjoy it. A lot of people are on the beach. But even with all the beautiful weather conditions, there's plenty of evidence, from lost vacations to property damage, that a hurricane passed through here.
Sunrise on the day after Isabel, the weather is gorgeous. Consider it a treat for riding out the storm.
We decided to then come to Virginia Beach because they figured the eye was going to be more inland. And once we got here, it was either fight or flight, so we decided to fight. And now our reward is a nice, beautiful sunny morning.
The Martin family, on vacation from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, had to escape Isabel from the Outer Banks to Virginia Beach.
This is the first time we all got together in 4 years for a vacation, so we were really excited for it. But like I said, here we are, and we're going to try to salvage a little bit of it.
Winds were still whipping a bit, but blue skies and easy-to-take temperatures were the backdrop for crews who cleared storm drains and repaired the ruins. Posing off and taking inventory of what the hurricane had blown, a resort hotel had large holes where the siding blew away. Everywhere is the evidence of Isabel. Her winds blew out windows and shattered storefronts.
I am so grateful, you have no idea. I will tell you, though, we have an enormous job ahead of us with cleanup.
Now, city and state officials will be heading up a very big cleanup project over the coming weeks. They are going to get federal funding to help them do it. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we'll show you one family that boarded up a few days ago and what they came back to find for the damage of Isabel. On Virginia Beach, I'm meteorologist Amy Freeze, NBC 10 News.
Okay, Amy, thanks. It looks great there. And the sun is shining around here today as well. Quite a contrast from last night's wind and rain. Some areas around here took quite a beating in the storm. Let's check in with NBC 10 Chief Meteorologist Glenn Hurricane Schwartz to find out the latest. Glenn?
Yes, and we were on the fringes, the northern fringes of a Category 2 hurricane that was trying to weaken to a Category 1 when it hit, so don't let you think that we got hit by a significant hurricane directly. This was the satellite and radar image yesterday after it made landfall in North Carolina, continued to move and go pretty much right over Pittsburgh, close to where we expected. And now some of this moisture is starting to lift back, and there are some showers in northern Virginia and in Maryland. Some of those showers will be moving into our area tonight. So we saw some sunshine today, but the clouds are coming back. These are the peak wind gusts during the storm: 60 miles an hour in Millville, 62 in Dover, 60 in Cape May, 53 officially in Philadelphia, 52 in Reading, 55 in Lancaster, and near 60 degrees in Atlantic City. As far as the current winds, it's still kind of breezy. These numbers are the sustained winds, and this is the gust. So it's gusting to 30 now in Philadelphia, gusting to 36, 37 at the shore. It's still a little bit on the gusty side, but winds will be dying down tonight and over the weekend. We'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Glenn, thanks. Down the shore, sunshine as everywhere else after the coast was hammered by Isabel's pounding rain and gusting winds.
And the crowds are already back down the shore, on the beach, or elsewhere surveying the damage. NBC 10 Jersey correspondent Terry Ruggles weathered the storm in Cape May. He's live now with a look at how things are. Terry, we said last night it appeared that Jersey weathered the storm okay. Is that still the case today?
Well, you know, Tim, you think about it, if you take yesterday out of the equation, this would just be a top-notch week for anybody who came to the shore. This was just super down here with maybe a 36-hour exception, which we all went through yesterday. But today, it was just the complete antithesis of yesterday, and you're right. People came out of the woodwork like nothing ever happened. Those who met the morning's first light saw the sun rather than rain clouds, and while the rain had stopped, Cape May got more than 3 inches, the wind continued to howl, gusting at more than 30 miles an hour.
It doesn't bother me that much. After being wet yesterday, drying out a little bit with some breeze doesn't bother me at all.
While many people didn't mind the wind, that wind did a number on some trees, and those trees did a number on phone and power lines.
Now, what time did the power go out?
25 after 7. It was a wire come off someplace.
Electric crews have been busy since the storm started, restoring service to 100,000 customers.
What we've run into has mainly been trees and, from the wind and stuff. It's mainly been trees coming down and taking stuff out.
In West Cape May, Mark Jacobic has already cut the tree that fell during last night's high winds. Jacobic says it's like losing a member of the family.
We're not going to be able to have the shade that we always have. And one of the reasons we bought our house was that tree offered so much to our backyard.
Yeah, kind of give it personality like?
Oh, yeah.
Along the South Jersey shore, the winds of Isabel took some trees and created a surf that robbed the beaches of some sand. But Carol Jacobic is philosophical about this bout with Mother Nature.
I'm glad it wasn't worse because we didn't have any more damage than this old tree, so that was a good thing.
Now, you notice that I didn't mention anything about severe erosion, and that's because in calling around and making checks up and down the coast from Atlantic County down here to Cape May, there has been a little bit of erosion, but not severe erosion that so often happens in these types of storms. Just didn't happen this time. We dodged a bullet. I call this a CCD. It's a Chamber of Commerce Day along the Jersey coastline. Let's hope it continues this weekend. Reporting live from Cape May, I'm Terry Ruggles, NBC 10 News.
All right, Terry, sold. We believe you. Looks great.
Well, much more on Isabel's aftermath straight ahead. All along the East Coast, people are cleaning up and drying out today. And some NBC 10 viewers are using their digital cameras to record the damage. A look at some of those pictures still ahead. Also ahead, we'll check in with NBC 10 medical reporter Sherry Bank live in the news center.
Hey, Sherry, what's on tap for today?
Tim and Tracy, let's change the subject from Isabel. Philadelphia has a high rate of asthma. Hundreds of thousands of people suffer, and even more could have it and not know it. Do you know the symptoms? We'll tell you, and how you can be screen-free this weekend a little later on the Health Watch.
Hurricane Isabel stormed in, and you turned to NBC 10 with Glenn Hurricane Schwartz, the Tri-State's only hurricane specialist, Amy Freeze, the only local meteorologist in the danger zone, NBC 10, the only team with 5 meteorologists to serve you better, the first station to do nighttime specials keeping you informed. And it's all backed by the power of NBC News. When nature packs a punch, turn to the team that does more. Turn to NBC 10.
The new 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix is turning some heads. Firmly planted to the road, the V6 feels as if it's a V8. Outclasses Accord and Camry. Now lease a new 2004 Grand Prix GT with driver's package for around $259 a month. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. See your local Pontiac dealer.
Any way you want it. That's the way you get it at your Quality Plus Ford dealer. We're bringing you some of the best-selling vehicles in America. Get up to $4,500 cash back on F-150, up to $4,500 on Taurus, Windstar with up to $5,500 cash back, up to $2,500 on Escape, and get up to $2,000 on Focus. Never before have there been deals like this. But hurry, these deals are almost over. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer now.
At GMC, being professional grade means you build a better SUV. That's why the GMC Yukon has the tightest turning radius in its class. Envoy XL has the most overall interior space in its class. And Envoy comes with unsurpassed horsepower. Get up to $5,500 total cash back on a 2003 Envoy XL or get 0% APR for 60 months for qualified buyers. See the pros at your local GMC dealers.
When you want a consumer alert team looking out for you.
Did you take people's money? We did not always get what we paid for.
Turn to Ted. When you need a consumer reporter you can rely on.
If somebody other than you would have found this, he's in deep trouble.
To uncover problems.
It's a trick thieves use all the time.
Give you solutions.
Here's how you can get prescription drugs for free.
And get you results.
If you make the phone call, you'll pay off your debt a year and a half sooner.
Turn to Tracy Davidson. Turn to NBC10.
You know, as you're out there driving around, you hear that little crunching under your tires, all the limbs and branches and leaves falling on the roads.
Down trees all over the place, causing problems on the roads and the rails. Let's get the latest from John Ogden live in the NBC10 Digital Traffic Pulse Center. John?
Exactly right, Tim and Tracy. We've been dealing with down trees all day, in fact, since early this morning. Too many to mention, down trees and down wires, including some major power outages in some areas. But the highest concentration of down trees pretty much labeled off to Chester County and Montgomery County as well. A few in Delaware County and Newcastle County in Delaware, but we've been keeping an eye on that all afternoon. If you do come across a malfunctioning traffic light due to a power outage, do treat that as a four-way stop. That's what police are telling us this evening. However, those down trees not causing any major problems on the roadways. Let's head out to one of our PennDOT cameras. As you can see, Schuylkill Expressway doing okay here. This is just past Gulf Mills. These headlights going westbound. Early, we were seeing a delay here because of an earlier accident westbound on the Schuylkill Expressway at 202. But other than that, we're looking good. Let me show you that delay here. You can see pretty jammed up as you approach 202 on the Schuylkill Expressway going westbound. Red means traffic is moving at 30 miles per hour, or slower. So do keep your eye on that. And that's your look at traffic. I'm John Ogden. Tim and Tracy, back to you.
All right, let's go to Glenn now for the day after forecast. And we have to say, Glenn watched this storm for about, what, the past 10 days. He tracked it right across the ocean, told us exactly where it would go, and that's where it is today, right, Glenn?
Yeah, and we're going to show you just how great the National Hurricane Center forecast was for this storm from back over the weekend and even early this week, and my kudos out to them too, and that's part of your tax money that helped to pay for that forecast. Now you can see that we have some clouds that have come back. We had sunshine during the day, the clouds returning from the west, and there may even be some showers around parts of the area tonight. There are some showers on live Doppler 10,000, and we can show you those. They're generally toward the north and west of the Philadelphia area, back toward Harrisburg. There's some just east of Allentown. But take a look at the wide view, and you'll see even more showers coming in. This is on the back side of the storm. We were talking about this yesterday, and you can see it's starting to shift to the east. Now, the lowest chance of rain tonight is in Delaware and South Jersey. The highest chance is from Philadelphia northward. And the farther north you are, the more showers you're going to be getting. We still have some clouds right now, especially looking toward the west, but it was a really nice day, and the high temperature got up to 82 degrees. That's the current reading. The low temperature this morning, 73. Temperatures in the upper 70s to even the mid-80s, Dover, 84 degrees. And it's in the low to mid-70s at the shore with the ocean temperature near 70 degrees. This is where Isabel made landfall yesterday, went right over Pittsburgh, and now that it's moving up, it's starting to drag some of that moisture back to the east. And now take a look at this forecast. The official forecast from the National Hurricane Center on Monday, when it was way down here, taking it up into eastern North Carolina and western Pennsylvania. By Wednesday, their official forecast was a little bit farther to the west. Remember, we've been saying all week we expected it to go closer to Pittsburgh. And then watch what happens with the actual track, almost perfect. And in honor of that, I'm wearing the hurricane bow tie given to me by Jim Eberwein of the National Weather Service. You can't get a more perfect forecast than that. Now, let's take a look at the future weather, what to expect. A weak front coming toward us as we go into tomorrow. So it's not necessarily going to be a picture-perfect day, and there could even be a shower in some parts of the area, although some of the computer models generally keep us dry. That front is going to dissipate on top of us, and so we'll still see some clouds on Sunday as well. So it's going to be a whole lot calmer. There's not going to be much wind, but we still can't rule out the possibility of a shower, especially tomorrow during the afternoon. Mostly cloudy tonight, and we do expect some showers, mainly from Philadelphia northward, but look how light those winds are. 67 for low in Philadelphia, 61 in the northern and western suburbs. Another warm day tomorrow with a mix of sun and clouds and much, much less wind. The wind's only 5 to 10 miles an hour after getting blown around for the last couple of days. Once again, we can't completely rule out a shower. We'll have the 5-day forecast coming up a little bit later, and see if we can keep this calm pattern.
Weekend cleanup.
Let's hope so.
Time.
We need it. All right, thanks, Hurricane. Coming up next, a look at some incredible pictures that you, NBC10 viewers, have taken as Isabel blew through your neighborhoods.
Plus, we head further down the coast where the storm left a much more visible mark. That and much more still ahead.
A long time ago, way back in history, the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair was born for you and me. Back to days of nights, most bold and brave to see. It took us on a trip of fun and fantasy. So come to the fair and bring the family. Leave your cares behind, it's a wondrous place to be. Laugh and sing and carry on, you know you can't go wrong. Your journey home with memories to last a whole life long.
The Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair. Advance tickets at parenfair.com.
What happens when a mayor fails? Job-crushing wage taxes. A looming fiscal crisis that could cut services to seniors and the poor. A parking bureau where $6 million of fines are chopped for insiders while we pay or get towed. The Inquirer reports violent crime up, arrests down, while a convicted drug dealer gets a hug. While the rich can afford to leave, it's those left behind who suffer the most. That's what happens when a mayor fails. We can do better.
It's a safer neighborhood.
The police are patrolling more.
It's safe. I walk home at night.
Mayor Street launched Operation Safe Streets, flooding hotspots with police. Now crime is down 20%. That's why he's backed by the Fraternal Order of Police. And Republican Sam Katz attacked Safe Streets. And Katz's tax scheme would put us at risk, blowing a big hole in the city budget, threatening police manpower.
The drug dealers will be back out here, then we're right back where we started.
Philly can't afford Republican Sam Katz.
NBC10 News Earthwatch, sponsored by GMC Professional Grade Trucks.
At GMC, being professional grade means you build a better SUV. That's why the GMC Yukon has the tightest turning radius in its class. Envoy XL has the most overall interior space in its class. And Envoy comes with unsurpassed horsepower. Get up to $5,500 total cash back on a 2003 Envoy XL or get 0% APR for 60 months for qualified buyers. See the pros at your local GMC dealers.
All right, let's go down to the vet now. John Clark is there with the Phillies. Are on a roll lately, aren't they?
They really are. They did great yesterday. I think it's because they moved the game up, John.
Yeah, very good thing. They got that in and they got the win. This is the most excitement you've seen at the vet in about 10 years. The Phillies behind me stretching, and down the stretch they come. Only 9 games left. They're a half game back in the wild card race to the Florida Marlins. Florida Marlins, they have to go to Atlanta for 4 against the Braves. The Phillies host the Reds this weekend for 3, and every game now is a playoff game.
If we even think about slacking off intensity-wise, this thing will be over. Because we better respect the team coming in just as much as we respected that other team.
I don't think anybody's gonna slack. I mean, we only have so many games left, and every game we're a half a game up, so we're gonna come out ready to ball. I mean, the Reds probably look at us on the other side going, damn, because they're out of it, usually where we are, and they're just playing for stats or the last few games of the year, and definitely we're gonna come with it with Cincinnati.
Take a look yesterday. Jim Thome says this is his most special homer he's hit as a Philly. 4-4 ball game in the 8th. Hurricane Isabel was coming. Of course, the next hurricane always begins with the letter after that, so the next hurricane would begin with a J. Well, Hurricane Jim coming through, blowing away the Marlins. Phils win 5-4. That is Jim Thome's 43rd homer. Only Alex Rodriguez has more in the majors. He has 44, and only 3 other players have more RBIs than Jim Thome. He is an MVP candidate. Now let's go on to a heartwarming story out in California last night at San Jose State. Neil Perry makes college football history. He becomes the first person, a non-kicker, to play with a prosthetic leg in college football history. He spoke to his team before the game. Look at this.
Well, bottom line, I didn't come back for any media attention. I could care less if nobody was in the frickin' stadium. I came back to be with you guys to give what I can to help this team win a WAC championship. Anything else?
Here is Neil Perry waiting to get into the game on punt return. He's waiting for his chance. His older brother Josh is there. Neil Perry finally on the field. There is his brother Josh. He's an Eagles practice squad player. He says he lives for his brother Neil, plays for his brother Neil. And here is Neil. After 25 surgeries, leg amputated 3 years ago below the knee, he finally gets in there. College football history last night, and that is a great story of brotherly love. Hopefully at 6 o'clock we will hear from Neil and Josh Perry. We're live at the Vet. Playoff fever is here. We'll have a lot more coming up on your Phillies at 6. I'm John Clark. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks.
All right, Hurricane Isabel left a big mess in Baltimore. The flooding there is the biggest problem. Take a look at this. Emergency crews have been using boats to rescue people trapped inside their homes still. Now, the city is warning people, do not walk in the flooded streets. It's possible, they say, that manhole covers have been ripped away and people could fall into them. And hundreds of people are standing in line to get dry ice. Tens of thousands of homes in Baltimore area still without power right now. People need the ice to keep their food in the freezers and refrigerators from going bad. Amazing pictures from there.
Well, we've been getting dozens of emails reporting damage from Isabel all across the Philadelphia area.
And we also received digital photographs from NBC10 viewers, so let's take a look at some right now. Alan Taylor, for example, sent us this picture from the backyard. A huge tree simply came crashing down, and look at that. It took out the backyard swing set.
Here's a similar scene in Downingtown. Jennifer Casaza sent us this picture of a downed tree in her backyard, landed right on top of a child's playhouse. Luckily, no one got hurt.
And Mike sent us this photo from Prospect Park. You can see all the damage along Nassau Boulevard, trees and power lines and power poles bent over with sagging wires along the street.
Joe Strine of Turnersville, he had quite a scare last night. Look at that. He said he moved both of his cars out of his driveway around 6:30, and then minutes later, this tree fell. No people or cars were hit. Timing is everything.
That's an example of how soft the ground is. Now look at this. A beautiful photograph from down the shore in Atlantic County as the storm barreled up the East Coast. This fisherman braved the wild waves in Longport hoping to land the big one. Did he catch a big one? Well, we don't know, but imagine him telling the story about the big fish and being on TV as well.
We want to see more of your pictures. Come to our website at NBC10.com, and there's a link so you can send us your digital pictures of Isabel's aftermath, and then watch NBC10 to see if your picture gets on TV.
Yeah, that could win an award.
Love to see them. Oh, I know.
Beautiful. That was a nice one. Well, we have much more right now on how Isabel is still affecting people in our area.
Yeah, folks here in Wilmington can show you how it's affecting them because they are still dealing with the aftermath of Isabel. I'm Beth McDonough. We'll have a live report coming up.
And I'm Ted Greenberg, live in Atlantic City. She threatened to cancel the annual showing of the shoes, but Isabel is not going to rain on the Miss America parade tonight. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Heart disease and strokes affect millions of us each year, but there's a way you can help. I'm NBC10's Sheila Allen Stevens. Join me on September 28th in beautiful Fairmount Park for the 2003 American Heart Walk. By taking part in this 6-mile walk, we'll be able to fund the research and treatment needed to fight heart disease and strokes. It's going to be a great day of entertainment, prizes, and exercise. Walk for your friends and your loved ones, and turn to 10 for this year's American Heart Walk. Together, we can help save lives.
The Lincoln Mercury anniversary clearance has been extended with 0